Hello everybody, welcome to Real Talk with Anita, Liberate Me. Hope you've been enjoying them. We're going to dive a bit deeper today. Real Talk today is going to be about why nothing ever works for you until you know this thing about yourself. So subscribe and follow, turn the reminders on, all of that stuff, because that helps us keep this going. Okay, so have you ever wondered why you've read all the books, done all the work, taken all the courses, hired the coaches or the therapists or whatever it may be, and yet nothing seems to stick? Or it may have temporary results, but it doesn't seem to stick. Okay, so you're not alone, right, inside of this, and it's quite common actually. I've been there too, spending years and years reading a lot of books, hiring a lot of coaches, hiring a lot of therapists, and thinking I just wasn't trying hard enough, and I'm a pretty hard worker, or I'm getting it but I just can't seem to implement it, or something was just maybe wrong with me. Okay, like why isn't this working for me, right, when it's working for everyone else? Now, the truth, it's not about working harder, being more positive, following that next formula. It's not about that. So you're doing nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with me. Thank goodness, not that anyway. All right. So it's not about understanding the one thing that no one else can teach you, but it is about understanding your own design. Okay, so it's about your own design. This is a part that's missing from all of it, okay? That it is not based on your own individual, unique design, okay? So in this video, I'm going to be showing you why generic advice keeps you stuck or keeps us stuck, and how your unique identity profile signature, your sacred geometry identity changes everything. And the exact moment everything really started shifting for me, and how that can happen for you too. Okay, so let's get into it. So number one, let's talk about why is it that generic advice fails us in some way, or it fails. So you can follow the best strategies, okay, the best business strategies, love strategies, whatever it may be. But if they're not aligned with your unique design, you'll keep hitting walls. So why is this? Why is that the point? Why is that happening? Okay, why doesn't generic advice work? We're all pretty similar, right? But the reason why is because you have 4 different elements that are bespoke to you. One is your root element, another is a force element. We have force elements and true elements that are unique to you, okay? And so who you're here to be and how you're here to do things is completely different. It's like saying, well, why is my fingerprint different from someone else's? Why is my DNA different? Why is it not the same? Okay, because it's designed uniquely to you. And when you understand your DNA and your fingerprint or whatever it may be, you are able to be identified. Okay, you're able to be identified. The one thing we can do with DNA is identify who someone is immediately, okay, or by their fingerprint, which is incredible. Same thing, okay, inside of your sacred geometry, you can be identified. Okay, so you have to identify with yourself. Number one, you have to connect, like, I'm identifying with that. This feels so good to me, right? This is who I am. Like, this is like my design. This is who I am, okay? I identify with it. Often we're doing things that we may identify with logically, or we identify with it from, well, hopefully this will work, or we identify with it because we think we're broken and we need fixing, so we're going to heal that. We're going to get that trauma therapy, or EDMR is one of them. No shade on any of these things, because they have a short-term effect, but they can keep us stuck in a loop, okay? Because where are we identifying with that from, okay? So if we're identifying with it from our force element, we've got a mismatch, okay? We've got a force fingerprint, a DNA, and it's not a match. And we're trying to make it match, okay? And it won't work. It won't be who you are. So it has to be from your true identity, your true elements, that you identify with it. And when you come into who you're here to be and how you're here to operate and how you're here to do things, and you understand your very unique force elements as too, that form part of your DNA and your fingerprint, it is life-changing. Okay, it is life-changing how these things start to move for you. So the second point I wanted to discuss was how your sacred geometry identity is the missing piece. Okay, it shows why your patterns, your triggers, your breakthroughs, are different from everybody else's. Okay, this is why we don't all trigger to the same thing. We don't all have the same patterns. Okay, we don't all have the same breakthroughs or the same kind of success in the same kind of way. We don't all like the same clothes. All right, we don't all like the same lifestyle. Okay, it is literally in your sacred geometry identity, and that's why it's a missing piece. Okay, because it's trying to identify someone or something, okay, that you're here to be, without having the DNA and without having the fingerprint. Okay, and then we've got guesswork, right? We've got a lot of guesswork, a lot of like, could be this, could be that, could be that. It's all circumstantial. Maybe this will work, maybe that will work, and none of it quite cuts it. Okay, so that's important as well. Okay, and another point to discuss here is what really changes. Okay, so this is all great. What really changes once you've got your true design? Okay, what really changes is that you start taking aligned action, understanding from the truth of who you are, from your very specific fingerprint, from your very specific DNA. You have very specific answers to everything. Everything can be read. So you're almost like a dictionary, okay? Or so I liken myself to a lot of my clients as almost like Google Translate. Okay, so we'll take a life situation you're having, love life, career life, personal life, health, and we will give you a translation. Okay, a sacred geometry translation that comes from your sacred geometry signature and that DNA and in your pattern, and give you that reading and that insight and the answer immediately, and give you the exact thing to do that is bespoke to you. So we can't, no two are the same. This is why we can't give a lot of tips, give you tips, because if we give you tips, they're going to be generic. Now, a lot of people out there are giving tips and taking you through different classes, like do this, do that. These are tools, and 9 times out of 10, they're going to be short-lived, or they're going to work for a minute, or you get it and you understand it, but you can't implement it. So where knowledge is not power. So here, whatever your life situation is, you get it can be read like a fingerprint, like a DNA, like brow, okay, and it can be read for you. Okay, that's my gift, to read it from you, for you, and to you, and give you a direct insight, a direct message, and a direct action, a direct thing for you to move into that's going to activate what you desire, or even better, as opposed to taking action or taking what we think is aligned action because everybody else is taking it or it feels good. Often the aligned action that your true design wants you to take often does not feel aligned at all, right? It doesn't feel aligned because things that feel aligned are often associated with our false elements, F-A-L-S-E, false, not true, not who you are, okay? Because it wants to keep us feeling the same and protect us from receiving the things that we want. So it likes that we are aligned to taking action on false ideas, false thinking, feeling like we're being empowered, but actually we're being disempowered. It's like a trickery that goes on. For example, it can say, well, I'm going to set boundaries. I'm not going to be around any toxic people, and that's my boundary. Okay. Now, if that sounds very powerful, right? Like, great. But if that's coming from a false element and you haven't got a specific reading on your specific situation, because often what we're calling toxic and that toxic person or that situation is designed for you. Okay. It's happening for you, not to you, to utilize in a certain way, to take to your root and to your false trait element, to activate in a certain way to get a result or an outcome, okay, that cannot be read from any generic way, okay? So it has to be read just from you, and it will be different for each person. So for one person, that may be like, yeah, you want to set that standard, and that isn't the relationship for you. But for you, actually, what's happening here is a different message, and it's not what you think, and it does a 180 and turns into what you desire, okay? But we're using generic ideas, generic practices, and now pretty much anyone that can get their hands on this stuff, which obviously is really easy to get your hands on with the internet, with AI now as well. Easy peasy, right? To get these kinds of judgments. And this is where we become judge and jury. okay? We become judge and jury. We're not activating anything. What happens is we're operating from our protective mode, our force elements, and we utilize these generic practices like boundaries, or how to identify something that's toxic, or the red flags, or how to see if someone's a narcissist, or whatever it may be, and how to navigate that. These how-tos, okay, and things like that, often in that generic field, okay, because we're now judge and jury around that. And we're deciding, we judge you're this and you're that, and this situation is this, and we come up with false straight conclusions. And often what's available in the industry, and the generic stuff that's out there, or the advice that's been given, or in therapy modalities, keeps you stuck in that trauma loop. Or they're saying this is the case, we are judge and jury. We are not. And so what changes is that you get to take aligned action that will really surprise you, right? I don't know anyone that on any one of their situations that they're experiencing, they never receive the answer they think they're going to get, and what this translation and what it actually is for them, what it actually means for them, and what they are required to be, enjoy, and do about it. It is completely unique to that person, that situation, which is crazy. It's usually mind-blowing when each person hears it, because they would have already played judge and jury, because we got so used to playing judge and jury and labeling things and saying this is what it is, coming up with a full straight conclusion, and then actually stopping ourselves from receiving the things that we want to receive, whether that's love, money, career, and it can often leave us actually quite lonely, okay? Yet we're doing all the right things, we're following all these judge and jury rules, and like we're not getting the thing that we actually desire, that true fulfillment. And we're like, hold on, what's going on here, right? Or we're going around in circles, okay, when it comes to different things. So this is really about coming out of the judge and jury and knowing that, you know what, you may have a judge and jury right now. You may be saying, look, this situation, my life's toxic, this lover, this relationship, this workplace, this colleague, my health, you know, there's no hope. And so you may have that judge and jury, and you may have made that verdict, but actually it's not the truth, okay? It's not the truth. So, but it's okay to feel that and say, well, this is what I'm thinking of this situation. Can I get a true reading into that? And as you get your true readings into these situations, which will blow your mind in a way that feels good and sets you free, that's why we call this Liberate Me, but it will break you free from this copy, paste kind of self-help and these generic ideas and this judge and jury verdict kind of ideas that actually keep you further away from the things that you want and desire, okay? So if this video spoke to you, or to something deep inside of you, or if you've got questions, hit them in the comments, or DM me on Instagram is probably best. And if you're tired of feeling like you're doing everything right, or you're following all the rules, everything that you've learned in the industry, everything that you're learning, but nothing's really changing, and you're getting more lonely, and you cannot see the light at the end of the tunnel, there's a reason. You've been living out of true alignment with your unique blueprint, okay? And actually hearing about it can be more triggering because we're so used to all these other ideals, but it's what sets you free. So let's change that. You can head to my website at www.liberatemetm.com, where you can learn more about your sacred geometry identity, and you can book a reading there. You can get your individual signature and a reading there as well. So, or if you're ready to take your first steps right away, then just drop me a DM, okay? And you can DM me the word design on Instagram at liberatemetm. And I'm gonna personally guide you to the next step in remembering who you truly are and how to activate what's not working for you. Remembering you're not broken, you're just waiting to align to the truth of your design, not what we've been told alignment is, okay? So that is today's Real Talk. I hope you've enjoyed it. Please subscribe, leave comments, messages, likes, all the jazz. Helps us to keep spreading this message that really is a new kid on the block. I mean, it's not a new kid on the block. We invented this 8 years ago, but it's because it's been very bespoke and behind the scenes, working high touch, high boutique with beautiful clients across the globe. We are now trying to bring this out. But it is a very different message from your regular therapy, your regular coaching, your regular self-help recorrect, your regular new age spirituality, which is actually starting to keep us more stuck and in a loop. So it's time to evolve it and see the truth, and it is by your very own design. Okay, so that's the big secret, is why nothing ever works until you know these things about yourself. They are so unique to you, so unique to your situations. I mean, literally, we read every situation, your work, your love life, we read your dreams, right? We read your feelings, we read things that you're noticing and seeing, and give you very robust messages inside of that of what you require to be with to activate the result and the outcome in it, okay? And give you insights that will just constantly go, whoa, I never looked at it that way. Oh my God, but that actually does make sense. So it's been, I see now. It's, oh my gosh, I get it, right? And we get this freedom. And you get to take action, actually see shifts. And you have, what's also very different about it is that it's sustainable. You have real upgrades. So it isn't just like, all right, I'm going to visualize something, I'm going to manifest something, and you get that manifested, but you can't hold that energy, okay? Or you get the love, but you can't keep the love, or whatever it may be. Or you feel a bit better in your health, but you can't sustain it, okay? So it's about these upgrades that are permanent, layer by layer by layer, as you evolve into more of who you need to be. It really is like an ecosystem of your soul design that is bespoke to you. Okay, thank you for listening, and I shall speak to you soon. Bye.